Analyzing the minds of violent offenders usually reveals a highly active ego, a reactive shell built to protect a damaged internal world. In these typical cases, the violence is a defense of the self. Johan Liebert possesses a different internal landscape. Clinical profiles suggest a hollow core where a primary ego should reside. This state resulted from Franz Bonaparte's eugenics experiments, which utilized the systematic negation of a child's identity to create a leader without human attachment. Without a self to protect or defend, Johan functions with high intellectual efficiency, unburdened by the emotional friction that complicates standard human cognition. The origins of this vacancy lie in the 1970s, within a project directed by the Czechoslovakian secret police to breed a child of exceptional intelligence and flawless appearance. While hiding the twins in Prague, Johan's mother dressed him in identical clothing to his sister, presenting them to the world as a single child. This blurred boundary prevented individual identity, suppressing primary ego formation. The breaking point occurred on the Chedak Bridge. Forced to give one child to experimenters, his mother hesitated, confusing Johan with his sister. Being offered, withheld, and left nameless destroyed his primary security. Johan was conceptually erased before he could form a sense of I, leaving him non-existent from the moment of his birth. Johan later entered Kinderheim 511, a facility designed to program soldiers through chemical treatment and behavioral modification. This conditioning found a mind that was already vacant. The orphanage simply stripped away his remaining autobiographical memories, leaving a highly efficient intellectual capacity without a subjective self. This left a child capable of sitting motionless at the top of a staircase, watching calmly while children and instructors slaughtered one another below. He emerged with a chilling lack of fear regarding death, loss, or consequence. Fear requires a self to protect. Johan lacks that foundational anchor, leaving him to execute his plans with the detachment of an observer. Johan's nihilism is an objective philosophical conclusion. Observing the instability of his mother's love, he deduced that human life holds no inherent value. In his logic, the only state where equality is realized is death, the ultimate equalizer that reduces every disparate life to zero. This belief dictates his method of destruction. He avoids physical violence, choosing instead to dismantle his victims from within. He scans a subject's history to identify a specific fissure, like a repressed trauma. Once mapped, he introduces a minute destabilizing element. For Detective Braun, this meant eroding his narrative as a worthy father by highlighting past guilt, rendering his defenses non-functional. Johan acts as a catalyst, stepping back to let the natural gravity of a person's own hidden truths complete their collapse. To gain access to these personal secrets, Johan projects a warmth and charisma that many describe as angelic. This projection is highly deceptive. Because he lacks a populated interior world, his consciousness functions as a flat mirror. He detects what those around him seek and reflects that idealized counterpart back to them, simulating profound empathy. This creates a dynamic where his victims feel an intense, seemingly deep intimacy, entirely unaware they are interacting with a vacancy. To Johan, identity is a malleable, fictional construct. He assumes roles with ease, whether as a devoted student, a foster son, or masquerading as his sister Anna. These masks cycle according to his needs, but they all project the same underlying vacancy. He wears and discards these personas to navigate societal systems, unburdened by the constraints of a true identity. Johan's relationship with his sister Anna is a fused dissociative network. To protect her sanity, he internalized her memories of the massacre at the Red Rose Mansion, convincing himself he was the one who experienced it. This mental structure collapsed when Johan found a picture book titled The Nameless Monster in a university library, triggering a severe physiological panic response. The book forced him to recall that he was not the twin sent to the experiments. Anna was. Realizing his entire life was built on a stolen trauma, Johan concluded that his existence was a fundamental error in history. In response to this realization, Johan initiated his plan for a perfect suicide. This plan entails the systematic, retroactive annulment of his entire history. He set out to eliminate every physical record and memory of his existence, killing everyone who ever knew his face or his names. He seeks to leave the world through the scenery of doomsday, a state of complete isolation and collapse. In the town of Ruenheim, he engineered a macro-level replica of the Red Rose Mansion massacre, turning the townspeople against one another through systematic paranoia. By stripping away the constructs of community and law, he forces humanity to confront a base, chaotic nature, attempting to show that human order is a fragile illusion. Dr. Kenzo Tenma is the single exception to this campaign of total erasure. In 1986, Tenma saved the child Johan's life, providing Johan with his only objective proof of existence. Johan became the sole witness, the only external figure whose memory validates Johan's reality. Johan's goal is to break Tenma's belief that all lives are equal by forcing the doctor to execute him. He stands calmly before Dr. Tenma, slowly raising a single finger to point directly at the center of his own forehead. Compelling the doctor to shatter his own ethics and shoot him is the final requirement to validate Johan's nihilism and conclude his erasure.